Hey folks, everything new under the sun. Nuclear weapons in the Bible. This is from the chapter of, or the book of Matthew, rather, chapter 24, looking at verse 21, and it's talking about the Great Tribulation. And again, you have the kind of the natural physical fulfillment of this, which could be by nuclear weapons, or it could be supernatural. But let's take a look at it as it relates maybe to nuclear weapons. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not seen since the beginning of this world to this time, nor ever shall be. Verse 22. And except those days be shortened, there shall be no flesh saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Why is the days shortened? Is it because mankind is going to destroy himself with nuclear weapons? This is what many have suggested is or could be occurring here, where the Lord shortens the time because effectively mankind is going to destroy himself. Let's take a look at the effects of nuclear weapons on people and places, and I think it's interesting to understand this. The effects of nuclear weapons. Instantaneous here. The heart of a nuclear explosion reaches a temperature of several million degrees centigrade. Over a wide area, the resulting heat flash literally vaporizes all human tissue. Remember, Matthew 24, verse 22 says, there should be no flesh saved. There shall be no flesh saved. And that's what it's speaking of, the high temperature of these nuclear weapons, several million degrees centigrade, vaporizes all human tissue. At Hiroshima, within a radius of a half mile, the only remains of most people caught in the open were their shadows, burnt into stone. Literally, the shadow of the person was burnt. They were vaporized. Near immediate, people inside buildings or otherwise shielded will be indirectly killed by the blast and heat effects as buildings collapse and all inflammable materials burst into flame. The immediate death rate will be over 90%. Various individual fires will combine to produce a firestorm as all oxygen is consumed. As the heat rises, air is drawn up from the periphery at or near ground level. This results in lethal hurricane force winds as well as perpetuating the fire as fresh oxygen is burnt. Such firestorms have also been produced by intense large-scale conventional bombing in cities such as Hamburg and Tokyo. Okay, so how about the people in underground structures if you've got a bomb shelter or something? Well, people in underground shelters who survive the initial heat flash will die as all the oxygen is sucked out of the atmosphere. Now that sounds biblical. Out of the total area outside the area of total destruction, there will be a gradually increasing percentage of immediate survivors. However, most of these will suffer from fatal burns, will be blinded, bleeding from glass splinters, and will have suffered massive internal injuries. Many will be trapped and collapsed in burning buildings. The death rate will be higher than in a normal disaster, since most emergency services will be incapable of responding due to the equipment being destroyed and staff killed. So, catastrophic is an understatement. So again, in the last days, the days are shortened. The Lord shortens the days, and if he didn't shorten the days, there would be no flesh saved on the earth. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Incredible verses. Are they referring to nuclear? Is it a supernatural event? It certainly sounds like a nuclear event, and maybe the Lord's supernatural end result looks very much like a nuclear event. And we talk about this flesh. In the prior video in Zechariah, speaking of the book of Zechariah and the flesh being burned right off the bones, basically, and the eyes just dissolving from the neutron bomb. The Bible continues to talk about the flesh, and that could just mean humans. But on the other hand, definitely in Zechariah, it speaks to flesh being burned off bones very, very specifically. And that in and of itself is very much a man-made weapon, at least that we know produces those results. So it could be something to think about, and definitely check out Matthew chapter 24 here, verses 21 and 22. Thanks for watching. We'll continue the series here of nuclear weapons in the Bible.